Any other requests, by the way, before we do? So as we're laying here, breathing, we're feeling our back muscles spread. It's as if it's, instead of, a solid unit, it's as if it's more like a puddle. And so the more we relax, the wider that puddle spreads. And this reminds us what this relaxed state can feel like, what it can be. Sometimes we don't realize that we have an underlying level of tension that's sometimes going on constantly in certain areas in our body. So we take a moment here to scan. And if we come across a muscle group that feels like it's clenching a little bit for no reason, try to allow it to relax even deeper, the puddle spreading even further. Especially the face muscles. Sometimes we hold tension there that we don't realize. Pay attention to inner and outer corners of the eyes, the roof of the mouth. Good, relaxing things happening, the breath flowing. So this type of relaxation into the earth is ultimately where we're headed today. We'll include different things to our practice today, especially involving shaking of arms and shaking of legs to help us sink into the hip and shoulder joints. Animals, when they come across any sort of a stressful environment, as soon as they're out of that stress, they'll shake. And then that helps them get rid of their anxiety, rid of their fear. It kind of is a reset button. And then they feel good afterwards. So like my dogs, after they've been scolded for doing something naughty, when that situation is over, they'll shake and everything's better. Humans, on the other hand, we don't shake enough. And so sometimes the emotions that pass through us that are more stressful and anxious, they stay stuck. And we feel this underlying tension in our system. So by letting ourselves just loosen up our joints and just shake it out, we can help ourselves feel so much better and so much more grounded through our practice today. So with that theme to get us started, we're going to start off with knees coming into the chest, a couple of just brief moments, doing hip circles or giving it a hug, whatever feels really helpful. And then from here, we're going to reach our legs and our arms up to the sky. And then we're just going to start shaking them out. So it doesn't have to have any form or rhythm. It can be sporadic. It can be random. But give your arms and legs a chance to just kind of shake. Good. Another count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just bend it right back to that little ball. Notice already the hip and shoulder joints are feeling pretty good, pretty loose. So then releasing the left leg to the floor, hug this right knee in. And then pass the right knee open to the right hand. Pass it to the left hand, a partial twist. 2 more like that, going wide. And across. And last one. Pause for a couple of extra breaths in the twist. then coming out of the twist, right hand reaches for outside of right foot, happy baby. This can be with stillness, or you can straighten and bend this leg if that feels better. And then maybe keeping this grip, or maybe sliding the head a little bit further to the ankle or shin. Let this right leg reach up to the sky. Our first good chance to stretch the entire backside of the leg out. And placing this right foot on the left thigh, give that left thigh a hug. Grip hands onto this right foot, left leg goes back to the ground. And we're trying to place this right foot at that left hip area. Once we've got it kind of set up by that hip, continue to rotate this right thigh down a little bit more. Left hand just kind of keeps that grip on the big toe. You could play with left foot even sliding in to create a greater hook for that foot. Sometimes that's what helps you introduce the quad into a slightly deeper stretch. Then bringing the right arm right up beside the ear. Start to tilt toward that right side. Maybe the right knee touches open to the ground. And by tilting, we're bringing that hip and the quad into a good, relaxing opening. Good. Relaxing back down, glutes to the earth. Free out this right foot. It's going to be on the ground, and you're just going to kind of throw that leg out and feel like all the little jiggles, all the shakes that we can get as we throw it out. Slide the heel back in and then throw the leg out. Maybe two more. And after that last one, just let the right leg relax. We start to bring the left knee in, give it a hug. And pass left knee open to the left. Crossing over the body, partial twist. Opening wide. And across. Last time wide. And stay as the body starts to come to the twist. Good, hips back to the ground. Left hand slides up to the left foot. Half happy baby. You wanted to do some movement, that's okay. Stillness is also great. Then both hands grab onto that foot. We allow this right thigh to come in, set the foot onto the thigh, give the right side a hug. Releasing right leg back out. Continue to slide this left foot up toward the right hip. Rotating that left knee more and more downward. There's a variation of this pose that we can play with when standing up. You want to slide the right foot back into plant. That might be a way to deepen the experience on left side. Continuing to rotate that knee open. Always pay attention to the knee though. We're not going so far as pain. Left arm reaches up by the ear, and then we can continue to tilt our weight over to that left side. Good. And returning, the left foot makes its way wide until foot touches the floor. And then we just throw that leg out and let it just kind of jiggle as far away as possible. It's like that reverberation. Slide it back in and reverberate. Maybe two more. Good. And so from here, slide both legs out long, reach the arms up overhead, a good inhale. Exhale, let's use our core to slowly rise up towards seated. Coming up to a tall staff pose. And then just kind of let the shoulders and the hips just walk themselves out, just kind of jiggling for a moment. This is nice because we feel the earth on our bones. Just kind of feel that looseness, that rocking. Good, and then back up to the tall stack. And just slowly reach our way forward until we find a good stopping spot. Maybe hands on the feet, maybe hands on the floor. Always feel free in class today. If the head wants to just kind of loosen its way, rocking around left and right, that's great. Getting back up to sit. Allow yourself to take the legs in toward a simple seated position. And from here, reach one hand up and then the other hand up. It's like we're picking an apple, then picking an apple. It's nice because not only are we pulling up out of that hip joint, but we're also getting into those shoulders, just nice and loose. Good. Once more each. Let the right hand go on the floor, left hand stretches up and over. And over to second side. then coming up to boat pose. Now boat pose will be an interesting one to do some of that wiggling of arms and legs because you have to keep the core engaged. But just kind of see if you can hold it out. If you want more of a challenge, try to get the legs straighter. Good. And bring it into cobbler. I know sometimes it feels silly, but sometimes we need more silliness in our life, right? Like returning back to being a kid a little bit. When we come back upright with the spine, take the fingertips on the floor behind you. This helps our spine to sit up even taller, maybe even to the point where we start to lift the hips off the ground just a little bit. Just helping the hips ease. Good, and then setting those back down. Rotate your right thigh over to the left thigh. And then continue to walk the hands to the mat behind you. Even dropping down to elbows. Nice spinal rotation. Back up onto hands. Open back out through cobbler. Fingertips behind you, maybe pick up the hips, even if it's just slightly off the ground. Good, lowering down, flip over to the second side, and come all the way down to that elbow twist. Raising up, back to cobbler. Maybe picking the hips back up, spine super tall. Good, and then setting back down, maybe the feet are quite a bit closer than where we started from a good amount of extension. See if you can tilt forward with a straight spine for a little bit longer, and eventually finding a nice release down. Back up, legs open to wide. And then from here, just kind of let the knees have a little bit of bending. Good. So your choice in where you eventually end up, you could just keep the fingertips behind, working on that nice height for the spine. Or if you'd like to continue to forward, walking your hands all the way through, that's also fine. Maybe if you go forward, you give your shoulders a chance to make kind of some figure eight motions, kind of rocking around left and right. Good, returning back in. Come to sit on the legs. And then from here, clasping hands together, flip the palms. And we're going to take cat-cow like this today. The arms reach up, we arch the heart forward and through. And then when the arms drop back down, we round in between the shoulder blades, pushing that sock back. Just at your own pace, I like to move with the breath. Inhale for the back bend, lifting up. Exhale, dropping down and through. Good. So take one more breath cycle. Then coming up onto hands and knees. Everything is touching the floor except for the right hand. So just let that right arm have that jello jiggle looseness. Even working up to the shoulder, maybe rolling it out. Good, and then eventually right arm reaches fingertips to the sky and thread right shoulder to the floor. You choose exactly the variation you're taking here. Unwinding that arm. Maybe take a cat and a cow. Good, a little bit of looseness through left side. Then reach those left fingertips all the way up high and thread it through. Good. Unwind, take a cat and a cow. Good. Walk the hands forward into a plank position, holding plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock shoulders past fingertips to lower chaturanga. Nice back bend. And downward facing dog. So the shoulder blades especially kind of rotating out to the sides rather than pinching together. Dropping right back down to knees. Take your right elbow on top of the left elbow, and then walk the hands as far back toward your shoulder blades as possible. You've got that good hug set up. You're gonna round the spine, even dropping the elbows closer to the thighs. It's creating so much space right in between shoulder blades. Good. Spine lifts up tall. Open the arms and give the shoulders a little jiggle. Good. Back to plank. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock forward to lower. Back bend. Downward facing dog. Now those shoulder blades separate. And lowering down to sit on feet again. This time left elbow on top. Walk the hands back toward the shoulder blades. Same thing, rounding, dropping the elbows downward. Release. Spine works its way back upright. Loose arms. Good. Back to plank. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rock forward, then lower. Back bend. Downward facing dog. This will be a down dog that you continue to explore as long as it's feeling good for the body. At some point you'll come up to the top of the mat, forward fold, no rush to get there. As you're here, let the hips have some wiggling. So you'll bend one knee a little bit, that'll shift the hip to a side, and then bend the other knee, shifting the hip to the other side. And it's almost like our hips are trying to do an infinity sign, a figure 8. Good. Back to stillness for one good inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Beautiful. Hands to the heart. And then dropping hands all the way down by our waist. Feel this strong, steady mountain. Good. Dropping left hand to left thigh, circle the right arm up and over. And have some freedom in the twist this time. Maybe easing all around that shoulder blade joint. Good, right back up, switch sides. Easing into that shoulder blade. Good, right back up. Shift your weight into left foot. Right foot comes up to tree pose at first. Feel yourself grounding down. And feel ease in the hips and the shoulders lifting up. If arms grow, make sure there's not tension in the shoulders. It's just ease. Maybe even opening arms to left and right to kind of sway the arms. Experiencing a nice balance challenge. And also just feeling this freedom in the low back. Good. Drop this right foot down. Left foot tree. First feel ease. And lift, maybe extension. If the arms want to open and sway left and right, that's beautiful. Good, dropping left foot down. This time, right foot to left thigh. Sitting back, we're easing into the hips. Maybe a hand rests on that knee, rotating that right knee open. Maybe we drop down to elbows, or even fingertips to the floor. If you have fingers on the floor, maybe you try the prep for this variation of crow pose, hands planting on the floor. We're trying to set this right shin up onto the triceps. And it's just the prep. We don't have to go to a full balance, but just kind of transition a little bit of weight onto the arms. Good. Weight back into the foot. Feel your spine extend. Lifting back up. Beautiful. Rotate the right foot forward to drop it down. And give it a little wiggle for that one. That one was a lot more kind of adding strength base. Good. Second side, left foot to the right thigh. As we bend our leg, sending the hips back, it creates that good steady shell. Maybe lowering hands down, elbows down, or even fingertips toward the floor. If you can get palms all the way down, play with that prep, trying to get the shin, the knee, the ankle area to get resting onto the upper arms. Good, weight back into the foot. Straightening the spine. See if you can move with balance to rise up. Release the foot, drop it down, and wiggles. Good.
That was very
I know, it's strong. It's strong for sure. I'm throwing it in and you don't even know it.
I'm so realistic.
Yep, that was it. Okay, so one more. This is going to be the right. We're grabbing the right toes with that left hand, setting it up, rotating onto that hip, kind of like what we did on the ground. If this is easy for you to do, you can take the right hand behind the back and grab that right big toe. Work, release, try to unwind, grab the right hand onto the big toe in front, and kick that right leg forward into a stretch. Good, sweep it under through warrior 3, maybe arms up by the ears, and land warrior 1. Inhale, exhale, open warrior 2. And we'll take a few, just kind of flowing like water flows. The front elbow goes down, the back arm extends, and then reverse it out. This can be fast, it can be slow. Just listen to how your spine wants to ease into these shapes. Okay, back through warrior 2. And then turning all the toes to the long edge of the mat. Hands can go to the hips. Bend with a nice long spine as we go forward. When hands drop down, have some ease into the hips for a moment. Kind of circling one hip around and then the other hip. Do that as many times as you like, and then eventually find stillness. Noting how that loosening of the joints makes it almost like the muscles are more relaxed, they're more willing to sink deep. Good, bending knees, roll up. Rotate the front toes forward. And then as we cartwheel into a half moon pose, we'll find extension and contraction, taking that right elbow and knee in, and then extension back out to the normal half moon. And then contraction, those 2 points coming in toward the center. 2 more times, out and in, out and in. Hold for just a few bonus breaths, normal half moon. And then everything becomes a noodle. We fall down into the standing forward fold. You can maybe have some bouncing of the knees. Just kind of ease the low back. Eventually stillness when you like it. Good, bending the knees, let's rise our way up. If you'd like to circle your arms, that's beautiful. Hands down toward the heart. Good, left toes up to right hip. Rotating that left knee down. Maybe left hand can come around the back to grab that big toe. Then unwinding, left hand comes in front to grab the big toe again. Extend the leg forward. Good, kick back through warrior 3. Land warrior 1. A nice inhale. Exhale, open warrior 2. And then flowing like water, noodle our way forward, and eventually backward. If you ever feel the need to just pause in a particular spot, there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful. Just find the best spots for your body. Good, eventually through that warrior 2. And turning the toes to this long end. Let's take our forward fold all the way down. Maybe wiggles through the knees. Until we feel ready for stillness. Bending the knees, roll our way up. Turn the front toes forward. Cartwheel into half moon. Then a few rounds, contract in and shoot it right back out. In. Out. Twice more. Pausing for a few extra breaths on the last one. And then drop your way down, forward fold. You want to do bending of both knees again. That'll kind of bounce the spine up and down. Sometimes those little movements are the silliest things, but they're the easiest things to just keep those joints a bit looser. Stillness, if you like it, when you're ready. Then half lift. Slide your hands clear up to the thighs, fingers pointed inward. And then from here, pushing onto the thighs, feel yourself bring some traction to the spine. It's like we're giving some length, especially to the sacrum and the low back. We're pushing our spine into that beautiful position. Good, one more inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Finding the floor, we'll plant our hands, stepping back. Your choice, down dog, child's pose, or a flow. Even 2 or 3 flows if you're feeling energetic right now. Good. So another 2 breaths here. And float the right leg reaching super high to the sky. Even bend the knees, sending the toes behind for a moment. Reach the leg back up and step that foot under and through. Right hand floats up to the sky, opening the spine past 90 degrees if possible. And then kind of giving this right thigh a hug, wind this arm under that right thigh. Bring back out. And hug. Notice in the twist part, if you can drop your bottom hip lower. Good, hug. One more time, up. And down. Then fingers are all on the floor, back heel rotate down. Try to help that front leg go toward straight. You can always shorten the stance if needed. Standing split, fingers walk forward, left leg floats. Bending that left knee, kind of bring it into the core and see if you can come up to stand without left toes touching the ground. Good, lift this left knee up. See if the right hand can grab the outside edge of that foot. And then kick that leg straight. Bringing the spine into a little twist. Good, bending the knee, swivel the knee down, setting left foot up to right hip. Maybe left hand grabbing those toes from behind. You can stay upright or reach the right arm up. Begin to bend forward, aiming those right fingertips for the floor with this clasp. I know it's a challenge.
That's really awesome.
No matter whether you have the clasp or not, bring the left hand down to the floor. We're going to go to a low squat. So come to sit on that heel and then bringing fingertips behind you. Yep, we're coming all the way to sit. We got this left foot still up to that hip. Right foot up planted. Continue to rotate that left knee down. So you're welcome to spiral with it, a simple twist, or even grabbing those toes from behind. Good. Allow yourself to start to return forward, sliding right leg forward. Then continue to travel down, forward fold. Maybe give that right foot a little massage. That was a lot of balancing. Okay, rising up. Little wiggles. Good. And then cross the ankles, come forward and through. Maybe take a flow. Left leg floats up to the sky. Bend the knees, sending the toes behind you. Straightening back out. Left foot steps in between hands. Right hand stays on the floor. Left hand reaches up, trying to stretch past 180, and then give that thigh a hug with the left. Back open, and hug. 2 more. Good. Left fingers on the floor, back heel rotates down. Front leg extends its way towards straight. Standing split, fingers go forward, right leg floats. Bending right knee, see if you can come up to stand without those right toes touching the floor. Left hand to outside of right foot. When you kick the leg forward, you're in a twist. Good. Bend the knee, swiveling it down. Right foot to left hip. Maybe right hand around the back to grab the big toe. Left hand reaches up. And bending forward, trying to aim for floor. Both hands down. Lowering to the squat, we're sitting on that left heel. If you ever wanted a brief balance challenge here, this is a hard one. But eventually we're just coming down to sit from behind. Good. Continue to rotate right knee down. We're spiraling into a twist to that right side. Good. Maybe right hand behind the back, grabbing those toes. Good. Unwind. Left foot gets to extend long. Slide down it, maybe a little massage. Good. Unwind. The leg is out. We're going to go back and forth, kind of like rolling like a ball. When we're up at the top, here we're balancing, maybe like straight. When we roll onto our backs, we pause and wiggle for a moment. When we roll back up, rigid. And roll back, wiggle. Good. 3. 2. And 1. Spiritualist. Yep, you got it. Good. Lower all the way down onto your back. And then let's make our way to plow pose, lifting the feet up and over. This can be rigid, it can be loose. Whatever your body likes with this cow pose. Cow pose will be up to you how long you want to stay in it. When you're ready to come out, if there's other little wiggles or stretches your body would love for you to take, you're absolutely free to. This is that last minute or two of freedom until we're ready for Shavasana, sooner or later, no rush. Some people will still be stretching and wiggling and getting adjusted for Shavasana, so no rush. But when you personally are ready, let's bring our way all the way full circle back to where we started, where you find your muscles, you find everything that's in contact with the ground, and then you simply try to loosen it. Anything that has any amount of tension, you ask it if it can release even more. So in that way, it feels like that expansion, more and more surface area on the ground, spreading out like a bubble. Especially being conscious of jaw, tongue, and eyes. Very comfortable, open, and loose in those areas. Beginning to deepen inhales and exhales. Introducing little movements to fingers and toes. Ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're waking up first thing in the morning. So eventually taking a nice fetal position off to one side. Another breath or two until you're ready to rise. As we arise, we'll find ourselves kind of having a little tiny shake to the legs. And we can feel that shake kind of bouncing all the way up the spine. Tiny little vibration. Two more breaths with that. Back to stillness, where we feel that reverberation. And in that stillness comes the peace, the grounding, the ability to face all challenges that may come to us over the next day, over the next week. And so with this energy of grounding and releasing to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.